Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, entitled Knowledge of the Absolute. Text number 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam samagram mam yathajñāsyasi tatshruno. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Now hear, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, which is capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma-Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature with their manifestations, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. No one should therefore begin yoga practice as one should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity for progress in Krishna consciousness. One is therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Shrunvatam swakatha Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantastho bhadrani vidhanoti suhritsatam nashtaprayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Tada rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etair anaviddham sthitam sattve prasidati. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरो. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes free from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth personality of God. These are verses from Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verses 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
Then what will be the result? Asangsayang samagrang mam jatha gansasi tachin. Asangsayang. We have got vague idea of God. We do not know actually what is God. There is sangsaya, doubts. Somebody is impersonalist, somebody is localized, somebody is personalist. But actually, if we ask every man, what is your conception of God? I think hardly anyone will be able to explain what is the meaning of God. They have no clear idea. Is it not a fact? Can any one of you give me a clear idea what you mean by God? No. Therefore, if you want clear idea of God, without any doubt, asangsaya and samagrang. Samagrang means full, not partial. The spiritual understanding is partial in this way. Brahmeti, Paramatmaiti, Bhagavaniti Sabdate. The absolute truth is realized in three features. Brahma, beginning from Brahma. Then Paramatma, super soul. I think in Christian world they call Holy Ghost. Anyway, Paramatma, the super soul, and ultimately the supreme personality of God, Krishna. That is the statement of the Shastra. Krishna Su Bhagavan Swam. If you want to know, here is Bhagavan. In many other places, Ishara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhi Govinda, Sarvakarana Karana. Sarvakarana Karana. There is nothing accidental. Everything is there as cause and effect. That is clear idea. So, there are so many causes. I am caused by my father is caused by his father is caused by his father. Go on, go on. Then you come to the Supreme Father. He is the cause of all bodies. That is Krishna. The Supreme Father is the cause of all subordinate fathers. That is the definition of God, another definition. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara means controller. So controller, you are also controller. You control over your family, over your son, over your wife. And if you go to the office, you become controlled by your boss. So here the controller is relative. Both I am controller and controlled. But when you find somebody else, he is simply controller, not control. That is God. This is simple definition of God. You will find everyone relatively controller and control. But go on searching out, where is that person? That he is controller but not controlled. That is Ishvara. That is Ishvara Parama, the Supreme Ishvara. And who is that? Krishna. When Krishna was present, he was not controlled by anyone. He was only controller. If you study the life of Krishna, you will find he is always controller, never controlled by anyone. Therefore the Shastra says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. And about his form is Satchit Ananda. How it is? Now you can distinguish your form, this body, is asat, it will not stay. But Krishna's form is sat, just the opposite. And your form and my form is full of ignorance, not chit. But Krishna's form is full of knowledge. Just opposite. And Ananda, my form is so full of miserable condition of life that I have no Ananda, blissfulness. But Krishna's form is blissfulness. You'll find Krishna's picture always smiling and playing on his flute with his cowherd boy friends or the gopis or his mother, yes, always joy. Ananda, Anandamaya Vyasat. That is the Vedanta Sutra says. The absolute truth by nature is Anandamaya, always jolly. So if we become in touch with that Anandamaya, that is called self-realization. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. You get the same qualification. Just like if you touch yourself with fire, you get the quality of fire. You become warm. In any way, come to the fire, you become warm. Similarly, somewhere or other, you come to Krishna, that is called Maya Saktamana. Somewhere or other you become attached to Krishna. This yoga has to be practiced. That is called Bhakti Yoga. Jeno teno prakarena mana Krishna nivesayet. This is the injunction given by the Goswami. Somehow or other. Kamat, krodhat, bhayat. There are so many ways. One is attached to Krishna by lusty desire, just like the gopis. The gopis saw Krishna, very young boy, very beautiful. Naturally, young girls become attached to beautiful boy, so they become attached. The attachment is there, Maya Saktama. Also, out of fearfulness, because he heard that Krishna will kill him. So he was always thinking of Krishna, whether Krishna is coming to kill me, whether Krishna is coming to kill me. So he also became attached. Bhayat. Kamat, Bhayat, Krodhat. There are so many examples. So these are indirect attachment. And direct attachment, just think of what is the result of direct attachment. If by indirect attachment they become so exalted, when you become directly attached with Krishna by love, just see what is your position. So that is Krishna consciousness movement. Maya sakta mana prartha yogam jinnan madasra. So this has to be done under the direction of madasra. A person, a devotee, or the spiritual master who has absolutely taken shelter of Krishna. He is also madasra. He has no other business. So either take the shelter of the person or directly the Supreme Person, the same thing. Better to take the shelter of a person who is under the protection of Krishna. So our request is that Bhagavad Gita is very popular book. Don't try to interpret Bhagavad Gita whimsically, just to show yourself a big scholar and big politician. No, don't do that. Try to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Then you will be very good. Therefore we are presenting Bhagavad Gita, this book, it is 1100 pages. We are presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any interpretation. And the result is that thousands of the foreign country youths, they are becoming Krishna conscious. The proof is there. The proof is there. And all over the world, in Europe, America, Canada, Australia, Japan, even in Moscow and Africa, everywhere. We are not failure. That is Krishna's grace. Because we are presenting Krishna as it is, Bhagavad Gita as it is being accepted. Before me, many Swamis went to the Western countries. They also talked about Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literature, but not a single person could be converted to Krishna consciousness. Not a single person, throughout the whole history, background. But since 1967, we are presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. Thousands of young generation, they are taking to Krishna consciousness. This is the result. So, either we remain in Fiji or in England or anywhere, because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, everywhere. Sarva loka maheshwara. So Fiji is a small part of the Sarva loka. So if he is the proprietor of all the lokas, then he is the proprietor of Fiji also. There is no doubt about it. So the inhabitants of Fiji, if you take to Krishna consciousness, that is the perfection of life. That is the perfection of life. Don't deviate from the instruction of Krishna. Very directly, Bhagavan was. Directly Bhagavan is speaking. Take advantage of. There is solution of all problems of the world. If you refer to Bhagavad Gita, any problem you present, there is solution. Provided you take the solution. Nowadays, they are facing scarcity of food. The solution is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Annad bhavanti bhutani. Bhutani, all living entities, both animal and man, they can live very nicely, without any anxiety, provided they have got sufficient food grains. Now what is your objection to this? This is the solution. Krishna says, Annad bhavanti bhutani. It is not utopian, it is practical. You must have sufficient food grain to feed the human being and the animal, and everything will be peaceful immediately. Because people, if one becomes hungry, he is disturbed. So give him food, first of all. That is Krishna's injunction. Is that very impossible, impractical? No. You grow food more and distribute. So much land is there. But we are not growing fruit. We are growing, we are busy in manufacturing tools and motor tires. Then now eat motor tires. But Krishna says that you grow anna, then there is no question of scarcity. Annad bhavanti bhutani, pajjannat anna sambhava. But anna is produced when there is sufficient rain. Pajjannat anna sambhava. And jagyat bhavati pajjanna. And if you perform jagya, then there will be regular rainfall. This is the way. But nobody is interested with jagya, nobody is interested with food grain, and if you create your own scarcity, then it is not God's fault, it is your fault. So take anything, any question, social, political, philosophical, religious, anything you take, and the solution is there. Just like India is now facing about this caste system. So many in favor of the caste system, so many not favor. But Krishna makes the solution. There is no question of in favor or not in favor. The caste system should be designated according to the quality. Chaturvarnam maya system, guna karma, never says by birth. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is confirmed, jasahi jat lakshanam proktam varnabhi vanjakam jadi annatra vidiseta tatte naiva vinidiseta. Clear instruction of Narad Muni. So, we have got everything perfectly in the Vedic literature, and if we follow the Krishna consciousness movement, is trying to educate people on this principle. We are not manufacturing anything. That is not our business. Because we know we are imperfect. Even if we manufacture something, that is imperfect. We have got 4 faults in our conditional life. We commit mistake. We become illusion. We cheat others. And our senses are imperfect. So how we can get perfect knowledge from a person who is, possessing all these faults? Therefore we must get knowledge from the Supreme Person who is not affected with these faults, Mukta Purush. That is perfect knowledge. So our request is that you take knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and act accordingly. It doesn't matter what you are. Bhagavan is for everyone. God is God. Just like gold is gold. If gold is handled by Hindu, it does not become Hindu gold. Or the gold is handled by Christian, it does not become Christian gold. Gold is gold. Similarly, dharma is one. Religion is one. There cannot be Hindu religion, Muslim religion, Christian religion. That is artificial. Just like Hindu gold, Muslim gold. That is not possible. Gold is gold. Similarly, religion. Religion means the law given by God. That is religion. Dharmant sakshat bhagavat pranita. Navai vidu. Devata, Manusha, like that. I just forget. That dharma, this principle of dharma, religious system, is ordained or given by God. So God is one. Therefore dharma and religious system should be one. There cannot be two. That one religion is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja. To surrender to God, the great, and to abide by His instruction, that is called religion. It may be that the Hindus may be following the same principle in a different way, or the Christian may be following the same principle in a different way. That is called desha kala patra, according to time, atmosphere and the performer. There may be little difference. But real purpose of dharma is to surrender to God and try to love Him. That is religion. Dharmant sakshat bhagavat. Sabai pungsang paro dharma jato bhakti radhukkari. Because we are part and parcel of God. We have not forgotten. We have to revive our God consciousness. Then we go back to home, back to God. This is our business. So Krishna consciousness movement is meant for this purpose, that everyone should be raised to the platform of God consciousness, then his human form of life is successful. Otherwise, it is the life of cats and dogs. Thank you very much.